Hello, and welcome to our Sunday live stream. How are you over there, Prez?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. This is Prez, and I am Lisa J. Stocks. Thank you for tuning in. And we're going to get into our topic, and then we're going to talk about some events from the past week and maybe touch on some things that are going to be happening in the week ahead, as well as Q&A as always. So let me see. Are we live? Is everything okay? Yes, I see a comment in the chat. All
hmm
right. So let's get started. So how is it? How is football season going for your team, Prez, as we get further into it? We're just getting into the start. What is this, week 2?
No, this is week 3.
Week 3, okay.
Yes. Mm.
Team not doing too good?
Nope.
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 All right.
I'm gonna
But
be it's gonna be a stressful season if we continue this one. I'm gonna be upset a lot this year.
okay. But at least today your team plays after the live, so you won't have to be over there trying to watch and do the live stream, right?
Right. That's correct.
Okay. Okay. So any update on your channel and what we can expect over there?
Well, it's looking like I'm gonna be making more recorded content versus live streams. I have a opportunity and I think I'm going to go ahead and run with it. And that's it. Just expect more recorded content versus and less live streams.
Okay. All right. Well, we will be on the lookout. Make sure to subscribe to both of our channels if you are not already, and hit that notification bell so that you can keep up with everything that we are doing over there. And let's get started with our topic of the week. Prez, do you mind introducing the topic?
Investing myths that we need to overcome. Well, not me, but maybe you.
All right, so let's just do a quick once over on the chat before we get into the topic. Thank you, Nora, Jaden, Peachy, Realist, and everyone who is tuning in so far. Now, I actually did the topic this week. I don't usually do the topic. Prez, I can't tell you. Out of all the topics, I don't know how many I did. Prez has done like 99% of them, but I did this one. I say I did this week 100% by myself, right?
I probably did about 28.
28 of the 31.
hmm No,
Okay.
maybe probably like 29.
Okay.
I
Well,
didn't do this one, and it's another one that I didn't do. It was one that one of our viewers sent to us.
okay. So what I said about 99%, I wasn't exaggerating. Pretty accurate, right?
It's all good.
Okay. But that's what works for us. No complaints from you on that, right?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So, investing this that we need to overcome. So, let's start with number 1. And we're trying to get into the shorts feed this week, guys. So we're doing vertical live. I know this is the first time you're seeing that also. So, hopefully it gets us shared out. We still have lots of goals. We're trying to grow our channels. Prez is on his road to 1,000 subscribers. I'm on my road to 4,000, hopefully, one of these days. And so we're trying different things over here. Um, so, number 1 myth, let's start it. Let's take a look. You need a lot of money to get started. And Prez is nodding his head. No, no, no. So why don't you go ahead and share, Prez?
You do not need you do not need a whole lot of money to get started. One, because I'm speaking for myself. When I opened up my very first account, I was one of the lucky ones that I decided to. Well, I was taking a chance. I was kind of afraid to put my money onto an app or what have you. So I decided to. What's the minimum amount that I can open this account with? And I deposited $1. Well, guess what? They gave me a reward of $300 of a fractional share of Tesla, and this was before the Tesla stock split. So at the
Okay.
time, Tesla was about $900, almost $1,000 a share, and they gave me a fractional share worth $300, and it grew. And I didn't know what I was doing at the time, so I ended up selling it and started a portfolio just off of that reward money from opening my account. So just off of that experience alone, I bear witness that you do not need a lot of money to start investing.
Agreed, agreed. When it comes to my additional investments outside of my 401k, I say my story is similar to that, where I didn't start at a dollar, maybe 100, but not a huge amount. And once I put that $100 in, I didn't necessarily, jump to invest the whole 100 in one shot. So I could have spread it out over a few weeks just to get myself started. But yeah, you definitely don't need a lot to get started. And um, there are so many platforms that we both use that allow you to, that offer the availability of fractional shares,
Hmm.
like Fidelity, Webull, some most they've really been expanding over on Moomoo. There's many more options now that you can buy on fractional shares, allowing you to invest into those big companies, ETFs that you may not be able to afford a full share. So I don't go into my investing looking for what's under $100 that I can buy a full share of. I don't let that bother me. If it's $1,000 a share, $500, $400, I'm just gonna plug away at it until I can achieve the share size goal that I set for myself, or a dollar size goal. Um, so and by thinking that you need a lot to get started, you're holding yourself back, because if you do nothing and just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, what are you going to have at the end? Zero. But there's 52 weeks in a year. There's about 552 days that the stock market is open. So if you do a dollar a day, $5 a day, $10 a day, that's really going to build up. So don't think that my small amount isn't enough to invest or save. If you're on that stage, you just have to be consistent with it. $10 a day, that's $50 a week. In 5 years time, that's over $17,000, because compound interest, depending on what you're investing into, you're going to choose something that potentially has dividends, is going to have that share appreciation, and just being consistent with that small amount, you can really grow your portfolio. So let's take a look at Tim's comment here. He says, I'm challenging myself to grow Robinhood account with $100. $100 weekly or monthly, or what, Tim? But yeah, that is great. We just have to check on your budget, see what you can stay consistent with for a stretch of time, and stick with it. I've been doing my $10 daily into VTI for, over a year and a half now. And it's something that I've been able to stay consistent with. I do have VTI in another account, and sometimes I buy additional over there, but I keep that one strictly to my account on public. I keep it strictly to my $10 daily. So anything else you want to share on this point of not letting a small budget or having much money hold you back, Press?
Yeah, exactly. Don't let the small budget hold you back. You may see other content creators say you need more or things of that nature. Don't allow what others say to discourage you, because I've already shown you guys week 1 through 30 what investing $5, just as small as $5 a day, can do. So you can only imagine if you was investing 10, 15, $20 a day or something like that. It's not a lot of money. I feel that more people should be taking that time out and getting out of your own way and just getting started, and not letting the myth of you needing a lot of money to get started to hold you back, or I'm just going to wait for my tax return, or I'm going to wait for that lump sum of money. You don't have to. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to take you to achieve those financial goals in the long run.
Pipeline is saying Do we think that somebody on fractional shares could get to a full of Berkshire Class A? Listen, we may not be able to get there, but
I don't
that
even
is
think you can buy fractional shares of
fractional shares
Berkshire.
on that. Yeah,
I don't think
that
you can. I
I
haven't
don't think
found a
so
broker.
either.
Well, I only tried on one broker, but I haven't tried on the other ones. Once I seen I couldn't get it on that one, I said, well, maybe I just have to get Berkshire B instead.
Yeah, well, that's Pipeline just being silly over there. But yeah, there's lots of things that we've shared the example of that were way out of our budgets. Maybe even, even if it was just a few $100s, it might have been well out of our budgets. But I'll tell
Hmm.
you, Amazon, Google, when they were at $3,000, Tesla at $1,200, those were out of my budget for me to just say, oh, I'm going to buy a full share this week. But now I have many shares of all of the things that I just mentioned in my portfolio. Um, Welcome in Chocolate Drop. Thank you for sharing us out.
Hey, everyone.
Peachy, thank you for sharing us out. And Chocolate Drop, she was one of our top chatters last week. I put her on the community wall again.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
I remember last time I did that, some people were a little embarrassed that they were at the top of the top chatter list. And some people were saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Lisa. I gotta do better." Okay, so let's move on to point 2.
Yes, I saw the savings challenge. I didn't mean to cut you off, Miss Lisa. Pipeline Podcast asked, do we see as savings challenges? Yes, I saw them. I actually took a picture of them.
I have not. You'll have to share that with me when we get off,
I
Press,
like
and
them.
catch me up on that. Um, okay, we're on to point number 2. You need a financial advisor in order to invest. So today, guys, if you weren't here at the top of the show, our topic is investing myths that we need to overcome. So we're going to talk about different things that might be holding you back that we want to just chat about and let you know it shouldn't be an obstacle for you. So you want to start off on this one, Press?
You need a financial advisor to invest. And I would say that's false. Although it is good to have a financial advisor for those big, tough questions that you just need answered, as well as a reliable tax professional to answer those tough questions that you just need answered. But you don't necessarily need it because you're going to end up having to pay those people to provide those products and services for you. All it takes is for you to get a notepad and just start doing your own research. I know it seems like it's a bit tedious, but it's your money at the end of the day. And I feel that we should have more control over our personal finance versus we trusting an institution or someone like that to do it for us. And we have to end up paying. It's not about how much you make at the end of the day, it's about how much you actually get to keep. So if that's a bill that you can save on by just simply learning how to do it yourself, it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time, but it's worth it in the long run if you just take that time out your day, 20 minutes a day, just to do a little bit of research here and there and increase it as though you have more free time and take control of your own personal finance. You don't need to pay for a financial advisor. They're only going to charge you fees. And that's one more bill added to what you're already paying.
Mhm. So, yeah, I would say I agree with everything that Prez is saying. There are many books, there are many YouTube channels that we actually trust and podcasts that we, know are giving solid information as well as, we talk to each other about things and we try to share it through our platform here that are and there are stocks and index funds that are choices that you can make that are much lower risk, that don't take in-depth research, that you can kind of, not that I ever want you to think everything is, set it and forget it. You do have to have some knowledge, but there are some easier choices out there. And I hate the thought of us being gouged with fees and, being led down the path that, oh, it's only 1% fees or something like that. Because you have to think of the big picture. That 1%, on when you first getting started on your first few thousand, but you have to think you want to get to those days when you're at over 100,000, over 200,000, and you're losing that amount. You're losing 1% of your money, and you're losing your money. And there's so many fees associated with what you're trying to accomplish for yourself, and it's really not necessary. So yes, there might be, you may have a employer uh, based job, retirement account, say at Fidelity, for example, and there are people there that you can talk to, but you have to realize that just like with everything, whether it's medical, whether it's home repairs, you have to know that who has your best interests and your budget and everything at heart more than you. No one, no one. So you have to be out there and you have to have some knowledge and be ready to advocate for yourself so that people are not overselling and just lining their pockets, because lots of times and lots of things that we deal with, this is what I'm trying to express to you, is that they're trying to make sure that they're getting paid too. So we are the clients and we are the source of income. So you can really lose out if you don't know how to navigate these things. And I don't want thinking that I have to pay someone and you're losing out money that you can be keeping for yourself, for your family, for the real purpose that you are investing is to build your wealth, not theirs, not these companies and uh, ETFs that have these high expense ratios that there's really no reason to choose those when there are other options. It's just a matter of putting in the work and figuring these things out. So, is there anything that you've ever uh, chosen or added to your portfolio, and now in retrospect, Prez, you feel like, if I only would have known, I could have chose something differently in this particular, as far as like fees or a higher expense ratio, which you've now moved out to something that was a better fit?
Never, never,
Never?
not me. No, never. Mm-mm.
No. We just made bad choices with our individual stocks
Yeah,
with
as
the
far as
charge
growth
with
companies
the
and things of that nature, but I never invested into a bad ETF or anything like that.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's move on to point number 3. Let me take a quick look at the chat. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Chocolate Drop is saying, "Take the money and buy some Apple stock." Yes, don't be gouged by these fees. Yes. Um, good point, Prez. I don't know what point you were making at that time.
One of the before we move on to the next subject, one of the
Okay.
main reasons why I like to take better control of my personal finances is because I feel like that we're at war against the corporations. The corporations are currently running the world, especially the elite. So, would you really want to trust them managing your money? That's what I ask myself. Do you really want to trust them managing your money, or are you trying to make as much money off of them as you possibly can? And doing it on your own is one of the ways to keep as much as you possibly make from them, other than paying taxes, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we always need to have that mindset that we need to advocate for ourselves. So, um let's move on to point number 3, and that is fear of losing money shouldn't keep you out of the market. So let's let's talk about that. So, like I've already started to touch on, why are you grinning, Press?
I thought you about go ahead, go ahead.
No,
I
no,
can
you
wait.
go ahead. What? No, what is it? What is it?
I say that's false as well. That's a myth as well because you not investing, you're losing money. You're losing out on potential compound interest that you could be gaining just by just simply investing consistently.
Mhm. Well, I'm sure you've heard someone say like, "Oh, like talk about investing as though it's gambling, as though you don't need to do that or, talk about it." But we know the big picture. We know the potential. I believe that everyone should be doing it. And
Mhm.
fear should not hold us back from investing. So, really, I think in this, yes, the markets go up and down. We've been through market crashes like in 2008, of course, in 2020, just a few years ago. No matter what our age, I know we all can remember that. Um, but things happen. Um, like what happened with the attempted assassination on the former president. Things like this happen. There's always going to be things that are occurring that are going to shake the market, but the market in time will rebound. And after that happens, that will be a reward to the people that invested when the real downtime was occurring. So, short-term dips are normal, but over time, there hasn't been. We have decades of history to reflect upon, and the market has always recovered. It's
Hmm.
just a matter of making those good, sound investments. Talking about back in 2008, um, I think most of us probably can remember, the gas prices. We were in a very the housing market. It was a very rough time. But if we had invested into Apple or Costco or the S&P 500 or one of our favorites, VTI, which gives exposure to the total US stock market, and just never even looked at it again until 2024, what would it be looking like now, Press?
Wow. Wow. But I got a question for you, completely off topic.
Okay, so
Since you've
guys,
been in now, you've been investing longer than I have. You understand what I'm saying? So the question is, does it feel like since you've been investing in the market that you can predict the future as far as how the economy is going to go? It's like you can almost foresee a downturn in the economy as far as finances and things like that before it happens, just simply by being in tune with the day-to-day activity of the market.
I don't know if I understand your question. Day to day, I don't know about day to day. If I could do I'd be doing much better with my options if I could track it day to day. But I mean,
For
year,
example,
quarterly.
the previous bear market, did you foresee that times will be getting hard for those that's not in the market economically, financially, like at the top of the previous bear market? Like, did you already have some type of foresight as to, oh, this is about to happen, so let me start tightening up on my finances and things of that nature? Because I
Yes,
feel like,
yes, yes. I
right,
I
right,
I
right.
would say
Now you
that.
understand what I'm saying.
But that's only, I would say, in the last, I would say, 6 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, I was investing into my 401k.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's just an automatic thing. There was no time that I was gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna, go and turn it off and or lower my contribution." If anything, all I did was increase my contribution and just kind of float along. Um, Even at some points, not even checking regularly the performance when I was less knowledgeable when I got
Okay.
started. But just because I was contributing, just because I was a part of it since I've been 19 years old, thankfully, it flourished. And before I knew it, I don't even know when I hit that first milestone of passing $100,000 because I was just working, contributing, and going about my life. But yeah, now that I am looking at the market month to month, week to week, and taking all of these different factors into account and
Mm-hmm.
potentially evaluating new things that I want to add to my portfolio, like this year I've added Nvidia and SCHD. So I'm more in tune with these things, as well as wanting to be able to build up those positions that I'm not done. I'm not done with anything. When I talk about the Apple, the realty income, I'm not done building up anything in my portfolio. So I have an interest in keeping up with how everything is moving, having my price alerts on for long to just continue with my long-term positions. So I see Lisa take a station break. Should we take a station break?
Of course, if you have not done so already, please be sure to hit the like button on both of our channels as well as subscribe to us both. We're here every Sunday at 3 p.m. and be sure to have your notification bell on so that you can be updated whenever we post content on our own individual channels. So if you haven't hit the like button by now, please do so right now or else. No, I'm
or
just messing with
else.
you. I'm just messing with you.
All right. So that was fear of losing money in the market. I am not fearful of losing money in the market. I do have some, I would say I don't have a lot of volatility in my portfolio. But what does move in like the Tesla, um or even Nvidia, it really moves sometimes, but I'm okay with that, and I have my long-term vision, and I'm not fearful of the market, and I know that the things that I've added into my portfolio are going to benefit me in the long run. So, okay. Anything else on this point before we move on to point number 4?
I feel like this, as far as fear of losing money, as long as you have your portfolio properly allocated, meaning, as far as my situation, I have at least 60% of my money invested into either VTI or VOO, or in some portfolios, both. And everything else underneath of that, I really don't have much worry because majority of my money is invested into the entire stock market. So I already know in my mind that the stock market goes up and down. But if you zoom out and look at the monthly chart, everything as far as the S&P is concerned continuously goes up. So there's no fear. There's no fear over here.
Ooh, fractional share funds. Okay. Thank you for the super chat.
Awesome. Let's go.
And yeah, I am so slow with my navigation on my StreamYard press.
Uh-oh.
Thank you so much. We do greatly appreciate it.
I get
Okay.
days, I'd be like, all right, I know what button I want to push. Where is it? And I got it. I don't have it memorized yet.
Okay. Yes. Okay. $10. What should I do with that $10 press? VTI?
VTI. VTI.
All right. Thank you, a brother of a certain age. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to point number 4. Let's see. You can wait to start investing later in life. Now,
Okay. Time waits for
okay,
no man.
yes. Um, really, I want us to encourage our as soon as you start working, the preteens, everybody. I want everyone to start investing, but don't think that your 20s and 30s is not the time to be focused on retirement. Starting early is a huge advantage. Compound interest is on your side. Time in the market beats timing the market. You just have to get started because I mean the amount that you can invest in your 20s, it's gonna double by the time you get to your 30s. And then it's gonna triple the amount that you're gonna need to be investing in order to accomplish the same goals. And most likely once your life happens and you have a home and you have children and you have your you have to pay for your student loan and all these other things, your budget for investing and saving, you're going to have so many other things. So taking advantage of investing those small amounts early on is just going to help you to be on track so that you can invest, hopefully that same smaller amount. You're going to obviously work to increase it, but you won't have to say I need to contribute 400, 500, $600 a month later in life in order to achieve the goals that you want if you start with the smaller amounts when you're in your 20s. Now, is anybody in the chat, have you invested? Did you start investing in your 20s as soon as you started working, or um like what has been your path in getting started in investing? Were there certain jobs that you had earlier on where it wasn't an option? Like how did you go about it? I kind of fell into that kind of easily because I started working full time when I was 19, and I was working at that first company for many years, and pretty much from the start it wasn't a large amount because I didn't earn much. My first full-time role there, I was making 808 an hour. So there, and then my when I got my first raise, I got to $10 an hour. So there wasn't much. There wasn't much to contribute, but I was always contributing even back then at 19, 20, 21 when my earnings was very low. But it, over time, I see that it really helped me to achieve. And if I would have just, I didn't graduate college until I was about 30. And I didn't really get my first, I would say, pretty good job until I was until like a year later. So if that would have been my start to investing, I don't know where I would be at today. Those 10 years, even at a lower amount, really has helped me. So
I
Miss
wish I
Frugal
would have
is
started in my 20s. I'd probably be about to retire in the next couple of years.
Miss Frugal is saying that when she graduated from college, she asked for stocks as her graduation gift to start her journey. I
That is
hope my
awesome.
daughter I hope my daughter gets to that stage where she actually says like, "Mommy, can I get stock? Can you give me some Bitcoin somewhere?"
Hmm.
Not necessarily Bitcoin, guys, but because I don't know, I actually never figured that out. I hold her crypto actually in my name because didn't find an account where I could. I never figured out how to invest for a child in crypto.
Cold
But,
store.
um, but I
Cold
mean in her name, with her name attached?
It's not really gonna be a name attached because it's stored on the cold wallet. It's just the wallet address.
Okay.
You have
Yeah.
physical custody of that crypto. So
It hasn't been a pressing issue because I do hold some Ethereum for her, but I
mhm.
kinda have to know that that's for her because it's under my name right now. But yeah, she actually invested $66, on Thursday. On her
Awesome.
own, on her own, she had to do her investments. We needed you there, Prez, because her portfolio is a little off balance.
You
I
should
know
have said
you
something. All you gotta do is say
you
something. I'm here.
but we came up with our way. I actually recorded it. We came up with our method on trying to get her positions that were a little overweighted.
Hmm.
We put a little extra there, but, if you were there, you probably get us back to exactly 40%, 40%.
It's not hard. It's not that hard.
Okay, so we have a comment from Pipeline. Do you mind, reading that?
Have you guys seen the Money Guys Money Multiplier for every age pre 65, where it shows that $1 can become at every age by the time you retire? It is crazy. No, I never seen that diagram before. And I've seen quite a few different diagrams. It's so many different ones. There's so much variety out there. You almost be
Mm,
like a kid in a candy store, like which plan is best for me. So it's good to always have a notebook, a notebook, so you can write down different things and play with different numbers and things of that nature, especially
mhm,
in your spare time. Instead of
yeah.
watching TV, you could be writing stuff down. Just my opinion. I'm not trying to knock anybody, but less entertainment and more education. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yes, yes. So, guys, what do you think of the myths that we shared? We all need to just focus on the big picture, and don't let anything hold us back. Let's talk through it and let's figure it out. But we all are just here striving to show you how we're taking hold of our financial future. And things are so different now. It's not like back in the day. We're not going to get a pension. We're not going to be able to live in this economy off of Social Security. um, we all see that. What can we do with a little over less than 2,000, $1,500 a month? What can you do with that, with the amount of rent and car insurance and utilities, and all that money would go in no time. So we have to make sure that we're focusing on our investments to take care of ourselves. And the earlier on that we're doing this, we have to work smarter when we're younger, because when we're older, um, there's only so much physical work we can do when we're older. I know it's already getting harder for me to face some of the things, the lawn work and the bagging up the 17 bags of leaves that I'm sure is going to be coming up soon, is a
Mm.
project that I'm not looking forward to. But, you got to save and invest and plan for the future, because the day is going to come where I'm not going to be able to do it anymore.
I ask myself every day when I wake up, do you want to work till you die?
Mhm.
You ain't getting no younger.
Yes. Yes. So, thank you for tuning in from Thailand. So, guys, can you guys let us know if this is your first time tuning in for the Sunday live? Are you new here? This is our first time doing a vertical live.
Shout out to everyone that's new. I do apologize to everyone on my side that has to wait that 20 minutes, but I do that to deter the trolls.
Oh, we're on 20 minutes timeout over there,
I
press.
believe so, yes.
Okay.
20
Okay.
minutes.
All right. So I know I sent you something the other day. Okay. So, is there anyone here who is not investing at all, that is just on the stage of paying down debt? Can you put a 1 in the chat if you are investing? And put a 2 in the chat if you have not gotten started yet. All right.
Yeah, one in the chat if you're currently investing, two in the chat if you are not, but curious.
Okay. All
They
right.
scared. They
So
scared.
they scare.
Yeah, they scared. They scared to tell us.
I actually I made quite a few
Yes, I am from Baltimore.
debt-free dad. I think he's in the DC area. He's down there, and he's your neighbor.
Okay.
Um so okay, okay. I don't see any twos yet. So everyone's
No
investing.
twos. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Okay. So now that we've gone through our points, let's move on to what has gone on in the past week. Any news articles or any topics you want to? Let's start with the rate cuts, Prez. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so if the for those who don't know, the Federal Reserve just lowered interest rates by a 0.5%. Um, I'm okay with it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I was expecting a quarter of a percent, but he went ahead and did a 0.5%. So the market kind of had to digest that and price it in. Um, Now I feel as though the real estate sector can flourish a little more as far as realty income is one prime example because the interest rates are lower, as well as the financial sector should start performing a little better because it is costs less to borrow. So now more people will start taking out loans and things of that nature because interest rates are starting to come down. So it could be good for the economy as well as the job market because the job market is starting to look a little shaky. So I believe the Fed is trying to nip that in the bud before it gets too far out of hand as far as the unemployment rate going up because it has been going up because the interest rates has been up. So you have a lot of these corporations that are doing hiring freezes as well as layoffs. So they basically wanted us to lose our jobs to cool inflation.
Yes. Okay. So, guys, the Federal Reserves, they cut interest rates in response to a slowing economy in order to stimulate growth and kind of ease inflation concerns. But yeah, as Prez just touched on, the cooling job market, lower consumer spending, and the potential of an upcoming recession is what we're currently facing. And so Thursday, after the announcement of the rate cuts, the market reacted very positively. And this is good for investors. Well, it was it was good in the moment, but just like you were also talking about with real estate and companies in general, they'll be able to potentially borrow more money in order to grow their businesses. So, did you trade it all on Thursday, Prez? I know I caught the beginning of the show and you were like, "Yeah, this is one of those days. I'm probably just going to be here sitting on my hands. I'm not going to get out there." But that's usually your policy on days like that.
I think I traded in the afternoon. I think I did end up trading in the afternoon. Very light though.
So do you think that future cuts are needed in order to avoid, us truly getting into a recession?
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
Mhm.
Because like I said, the labor market is really tight right now. It's like hard to find even just the simplest of jobs. Even the low end jobs are hard to find because you got hiring freezes as well as mass layoffs at a lot of these different companies. So if you got a job right now, hold on to it. Tough to stick it out because it might be hard for you to find a replacement, or at least wait until you have a replacement before you leave that current position because it's real out there, and it could
Mm.
only get potentially get worse before it gets better. So just be mindful of that.
Yeah, I think I feel the same that, yeah, further cuts are needed. And, as far as the housing market, financing costs going down and just this long stretch of the lack of inventory and the prices of the houses are just gonna go up in reaction of the lower interest rates. And I was watching something yesterday and they said they don't even know if we will see when, if ever, we're gonna see those 3% interest rates when it comes to uh home prices, home borrowing again. I'm lucky that my mortgages are at that around that 3% mark. But for those that need to refinance, I know you're probably looking and waiting and wondering when is that time going to come that I can get in there and maximize the potential of refinancing. For me, it'll be I'm going to be looking not to refinance anything that I currently own, but hopefully to buy another property. So, yeah, it's stressful. It's stressful. Just all of the different elements that we're touching on here, especially the job market. Um,
Wow,
I
that's awesome.
whose comment are you looking at?
The one I started investing at 18 when I enlisted in the Army. I had a great first sergeant who always talked about financial freedom and made me automatically sign up to monthly invest into the S&P 500 index fund. That is awesome. That is so awesome.
It is to have that guidance and actually and it be good guidance that you got. So many people
Hmm.
don't have financial knowledge, nor do they have people around them that are steering them in the right direction. So
Yes.
yeah, debt free dad.
With that being said, if it's someone you know out there that's interested in this and you would like to potentially get them interested in this, share our content out. Like show them our videos and things of that nature. Have them subscribe and take notes. You never know, they might find it to be interesting, and it might be one of us that convinced them to start their own journey as well as yourself.
So debt free dad says his mortgage is at 2.2%. He's never going to move. Yeah, that's how I feel. I can't tell you,
Wow.
a week does not pass that I don't get a random call on my phone, whether I have a home phone still, I have a landline, whether it's the house phone or my cell phone, just randomly asking me, are you the property owner of this? Are you interested in selling? Like, no, no. And my standard thing that I say to them is, "No, I'm actually interested in buying. Do you have any multifamilies available in this county or this county?" And they hang up on me. But yeah, I'm just tired of them. Tired of them calling my house. Like, how much are you gonna offer me? Where am I supposed to live? Where could I go live? Like, my mortgage
I need
is
to be
not.
silly real quick. You got three-way?
uh, I'm
Can you call somebody for me?
What is the joke, Prez? That I have a landline? And listen, it's not even a cordless. It's a real, if the power goes out, listen, the power goes out, and Lisa's
Wow.
cell phone is dead, I can still make my calls, okay? At
Wow.
least the few phone numbers that I actually can remember off the top of my head. My mother doesn't even have a landline.
My grandmother has a landline.
Listen, nothing wrong with that. Miss Frugal has a landline. See, I know she's good people. We the same. Power go out.
I actually just got rid of mine probably about a year and a half ago. So I just recently got rid of my landline. And that's only because no one was using it and I wanted to cut the cost of my cable provider at the time.
Mhm. I'm not really familiar with what's going on with Kamala and a
I
lot of
feel
what
like that $25,000 for new home buyers is going to mess up the housing market
yeah.
simply because you're going to have the people that are selling the houses, they're going to just simply raise the price up. Or you're only going to get a certain amount of people that qualify for that $25,000, and now it's a waiting list, and you got people that's not getting that money, or it's only going to certain people, uh, refugees. So,
Yeah, I
not
really
trying to be
haven't.
political or anything like that. These are things that you should be aware of instead of just listening to the headlines. Really do the research when you see headlines like that. Like, where's this money going to? Who's eligible for it? But I feel like inflation is never going to be solved until government curbs their spending, unnecessary spending.
Mhm.
It's like they're helping everyone else out, but you got people here that can't even, get decent unemployment.
Ugh, Press. Debt Free Dad, he actually shared something with Kamala about how she was saying, just tap into the home equity in order to help the
Hmm.
children on whatever endeavors they want to do. She was just basically saying to tap into your home equity for everything. I just thought it was just I don't know.
You do
I,
that, and they will end up taking your home.
exactly.
You're gonna be
Like
renting again. You worked all that time to finally purchase your home and own your home. Now you have an asset versus you just renting and you got a whole bunch of liabilities. And now you want to borrow against your home and things of that nature. Like that don't
it's
sound smart to
you know,
me.
it's hard enough, depending on when you buy your, get into home ownership. When you're making these 30, 20-year commitments, you don't want to be old and gray and still have a mortgage. So like, who wants to be tapping into your equity in your home? Just I don't know. But yeah, I don't want to get into anything with politics. We only have, two candidates to choose from. So make
Hmm.
your choice. Make your choice. Thank you for tuning in, Julie. Joyful Julie.
As far as myself, I'm more focused on achieving my own personal financial goals so that I can own land and own real estate and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Never mind what's going on as far as politics and things. I could care less right now
Prez,
because no
this
matter
land,
who, huh?
this lands, what do you want a quad on this land? You always talking about
Why do I
land.
want land?
No, I'm saying you're always talking about this land. What do you want on the land? I want property on the land so that I can rent it
Property,
and have
agriculture, all types of things.
I'll go. Oh, okay. So you're open
All
to that.
types of things.
Okay.
Grow my own food. Um, maybe have other homes on my land so that it's affordable enough for other people to potentially rent from me or buy from me, but I still own the land. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's nothing
All
like
right.
having your own versus you depending on the GOVT.
Okay. All right. So another few things that I sent to you that happened in the past week. We just touched on the rate cuts and, trying to avoid this recession that, who knows? Who knows? But there were a few well, let's first talk about Nike because you have Nike in your portfolio. I do not.
Yes.
What were your thoughts when you saw how is Nike looking in your portfolio, and what were your thoughts when you saw that, Nike is getting a new CEO?
It's just slightly red now because I bought it at, I have cost average of about $92 and it
Oh,
fell all the way down to almost $60.
uh-huh.
It was low 70s. So I wasn't able to add to it because it's so high up on my pyramid. I just wrote it out because I believe in Nike. Like that's all I wear on my feet, and I don't currently have a Nike hat on, but I prefer Nike over any other type of footwear. So I took a good look at the financials and things of that nature, and I asked myself, do I see Nike ever going anywhere? No. They just went through a little hiccup as far as marketing and things of that nature. That's why they took the hit from the get go. But since they moving in a new direction with a new CEO, I'm still gonna stick it out. Like the share price reacted to it. It's slowly recovering, and my portfolio is not as red as it was. I was down almost 25% at one point. But if I could have bought more, I would have bought more. But I didn't panic or anything like that. I said it'll come back one of these days, and here we are. It's almost back.
Okay. I thought that it would be I didn't realize how high you had gotten started. Is that a 1% allocation in your portfolio?
Yes, yes, it
Okay.
is.
So a very small position, but I
Hmm.
thought that it might have been looking lovely after this announcement. I think that was on
It's
Thursday
getting there. It's
on the
getting there.
19th. Yeah, on the 19th. Because when that happens, I don't know what percentage did it rise about 7%?
Let me look. Let me look real
Yeah.
quick.
I don't recall, but I know it was pretty significant on that particular day. Um, so and then I also mentioned a few dividend increases that we recently, if not last week, during this month of September were announced, and that was T-Mobile
Mhm.
made a 35% quarterly increase. Verizon
It's up
has
almost 10% over the last week, Nike,
okay.
since they made that announcement.
So Nike, not Nike. Verizon has increased their dividend to 67.75 cents per share. And then you don't hold either one of those, right?
What was that again?
T-Mobile and Verizon, I don't hold
No,
either
I
one.
don't. I
Okay.
don't.
And one
I almost bought into one of the. I think it was Verizon. I almost bought
Verizon,
Verizon at one point, but I just decided not to. Think I bought something else. I don't remember.
yeah. And Verizon has increased their dividend for the 18th consecutive year. So nice for those of you who do hold that. Now, Microsoft, we both have Microsoft in our portfolios, right?
Yes.
Yes. So Microsoft, they announced a 10% increase in their dividend, which is bringing it from 75 cents to 83 cents. And they also recently announced a $60 billion share buyback.
Wow.
So just a little bit of news from the last week, or the Verizon, I think that was announced uh, earlier this month. back on around what, the 4th of September. But just a little dividend update. Anything else that you want to highlight that has happened recently? Those are the only things that I had down is the CEO with Nike. You touched on realty income and the impact on REITs with the interest rate
Hmm.
cuts and stuff like that. Anything else that has happened recently?
Um, Other than my overall view on the market, like I'm still short term bearish for some odd reason. I don't have a definite reason as to why, but I'm just looking at the charts and how the market has been moving. Like we've just put in new all-time highs once again on the S&P 500, and I feel as though in the next few weeks or so, the Nasdaq should be putting in new all-time highs as well, and then we may have a pullback. I don't feel like we're not gonna go higher forever. I feel like we've already peaked out for the most part. We're not gonna go too much higher. So on my end, I'm working to produce as many streams of income as I possibly can to prepare myself financially, pay down more of my debt, more of my personal debt,
Mhm.
and that way when that time comes and we do get the next bear market, I'm able to invest as much as I possibly can with had not having to worry about looking at this money like I should just take profit or things of that nature. I won't have to worry about that. I could just leave it alone and don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Okay. Um, so I think the only thing, so let me think. What was I about to say? So the upcoming week, anything upcoming that you wanted to touch on before we just go to Q&A and take a look at the chat?
No, this upcoming week is very event free as far as economic data. Let me double check. Let me just double check real quick. Scroll down, scroll down. It's not really much to look forward to this week as far as economic data. Now on Thursday we do have some GDP data and some initial jobless claims data that's coming out, but
Mhm.
as long as that data continues to beat expectations, then the Fed will continue to lower rates. It may even speed up the process. So it's not really much to look forward to this particular week.
Okay. I know on Thursday we have Costco earnings, and on Wednesday we have Micron. Those are the only ones that I made note of. I think I posted the earnings calendar on my community wall if anyone wants to take a look. So Debt Free Dad is asking, what's your return on your single stock portfolio? He doesn't do individual stocks, I guess. He's at 20%. You want to touch on that a little bit? I don't know exactly because I don't have my individual. I don't know if I can answer the question that easily because I have a portfolio that has all of my portfolios have, except for the dividend one, I have some ETFs and some individual stocks. But do you have an answer for that, Press?
The last portfolio that I'm basing it off of the last portfolio that I started, and that's currently up about 18% year to date. And that's a mixture of ETFs and individual companies.
Yeah, it looks like I'm looking at my taxable account on Webull, and I'm up 18.82%. Um, but my best performing individual stock is Apple. I'm up 50.3%. And then as far as my ETFs, my VTI in that portfolio was up 31.67%.
Mm.
So, I've been working on this portfolio for a few years now. So I'm glad that I incorporated some of those kind of easy to set it and forget it individual stocks.
Mr. Cosmic said I'm buying more crypto. As far as crypto, The only thing that I've been buying is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And I only buy $10 a week in crypto period. And it's out of those three. And right now I'm just buying it on the exchange. I'll let it build up to about $100 and then I'll transfer it off the exchange onto my cold storage. All the other altcoins and things of that nature, I really don't trust them and I don't have the risk tolerance for them. Like I know they had the potential to soar 60, 70%, but a lot
Mhm.
of these altcoins have yet to put in new all-time highs from the previous bull cycle. So seem like a lot of them are falling knives. So and most of them will end up going to zero. You missed the
Definitely.
rocket ship. You should have got into Bitcoin years ago. That's how I see it. You missed out.
I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying, Press.
No, because I know some
You're
people they're new to crypto or they start
mhm.
hearing about crypto and they'll look at the price of Bitcoin and they'll look at the chart and how much it was years ago compared to what it is now. And
Okay,
mentally
wait.
they're automatically looking for the next Bitcoin. I know that's how I was thinking when I first was learning about crypto.
Mhm.
Okay, well, Bitcoin
There's
is
not yeah, I don't think there's gonna be
60,000 for one. I
mhm.
can't afford a whole one, so let me see if I can find one of these other coins to try to replicate that move that Bitcoin had throughout the years. And you're like barking up you're beating a dead horse and you think you're gonna find the next Bitcoin. You might not.
Okay. Uh, Chocolate Joff was asking about investing into gold. I do not invest into gold or silver or any, um, thing that gives me or,
I
you know
plan to one
mm,
day. I'm just not doing it right now currently. I really can't afford to right now because it's pretty expensive to buy those physical gold bars and silver bars. I don't even have the website written down in front of me. There's a website where you can buy the official gold and silver bars and it's inside of packaging and stuff like that.
um, let's see. Now, Peachy's asking, on average, how much do y'all invest monthly? So, my investing my f my retirement investing is about at 10%, but
Mhm.
I know that I worked for a company where I'm going to get a pension from, and then, um I don't really factor it in, but I'm assuming that well, I know we're gonna get something. We're gonna get some unemployment. So I think between the 2 pensions from 2 companies that I've worked at in the past and what I'm contributing, uh, it's an over a 15% savings rate towards investing rate towards retirement for me. So then in addition to that, I have my taxable accounts where on a monthly, you know, however I'm allocating it. Some things I invest daily, weekly, monthly. I'm building out different portfolios, and that's going to be for me for early retirement or when want to tap into it. So, I try to I do my $10 daily into VTI. I do at least one share weekly. I try to add to my dividend portfolio. So that's gonna be like a Realty Income or a SCHD. Most of those investments I have there are maybe 40 to $80 a share. So I try to do at least one share over there towards that. So and then I have others that I do fractional shares on, like just trying to be consistent with building up. Still building on my Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, um, Tesla, as well as VOO. I have VOO in a portfolio. I can't tell you. I know I'm being vague. But I think the biggest portion is allowing that 10% from my paycheck to go towards investing, and then everything else is it's what I choose to allocate as additional. So I had something written that we didn't touch on. I was talking about.
I personally do 10 cents for every dollar that I bring in gets invested.
Mhm.
5 cents goes to saving for every dollar. So that's 15 cents on the dollar I'm not allowed to spend.
So I had this written in my notes for on the first point that we shared today about point number one was you need a lot of money to get started, which we are saying is false, is a myth that we need to overcome. So I had this written. That we should be allocating 50% to needs, 30% to wants, and then 20% to investing and saving. So I think that that's really the answer that I want to give in that department, that we should strive to invest maybe 10 to 15% at a minimum,
Hmm.
and 5% for savings, and try to get those wants and needs uh, balanced in the remaining percentage. It may not be exactly that, but that's just a guideline that I'm throwing out there that could help you to evaluate. If you have a car payment, you have rent, you know what the wants are, what the necessities are, your utilities and things like that, your groceries. Take a look, figure out a budget, and see where things are at, so that you can then allocate, uh, or cut back on certain things, so that you can have 20% of your earnings allocated into that saving and investing budget. And we're always about, I really promote that we need to have savings, because without savings, we cannot really thrive on our investing journey.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And don't forget to pay down that debt as well. Can't run from the debt man forever.
Okay, I'm taking a look at the chat. Let's see. Palantir. Do you have Palantir in your portfolio, Press?
Yes, I do.
You do.
Yes,
I
I
haven't.
do. With a cost average of about $21.
Okay, nice. And where's Palantir currently at? About
It's
30.
currently still on level 5 of my pyramid, still 1% of my entire portfolio. Um, and that's where it will stay until further notice.
Okay. I do not have Palantir as an individual stock into my portfolio, but I was thinking about adding it into my one of my IRAs, where
Mhm.
I actually have picked up, I think, about 12 shares of Nvidia a few weeks ago, when Nvidia, between like $94 and 103. I added some into that particular account, because I was over here all year feeling like Nvidia got away from me. So when it got down to those price points, I said, okay, this is my opportunity. And if it goes down again into that range, I will add more. But
In my opinion, savings has to be in a high yield. Most definitely in a
mhm,
high yield. I should have been saying that the whole time. Definitely have that savings in a high yield account. I personally use Ally because I wasn't able to get an account with Discover. So my first choice would have been Discover, but for some odd reason they refused me when I applied. So
mhm.
I
Wha-
went with Ally and I get a nice percentage on my
What
high yield
what about
savings there.
what about SoFi? That was never an option for you?
They had ended up changing it where you had to be like a plus member where you're paying a monthly fee
Oh,
to or have a certain amount of your direct deposit going to that checking account to
mhm.
be the plus member, and I didn't want to have my direct deposit going there, so I eventually ended up forfeiting that high yield from there.
Mhm. Yes, the rates are definitely are going to go down, but,
Hmm.
it's been nice. It's been a nice stretch, and there was no reason for us not to be taking advantage of it, and they will always be better than the local bank, so it's still gonna be, something that I'm sure we're going to continue to endorse and encourage, that you use that as opposed to, just a checking account at the Bank of America or Chase or whatever your local bank is. I personally have not found that my local credit union or banks have been able to offer me the rates that I've been having over the last few years with Discover as far as savings. I have a money market account, and I've had money in a CD for my daughter, and yeah, the rates have been good. I haven't had anything less than 4, over 4 to a little above 5% on anything that I've been saving. So
Did you
that's
know that Public is currently offering 4.60% in a high yield cash account?
Did I know?
Yeah.
No, I did not know, but
Yeah.
that's lower than what we're getting at. We're getting 5.0 and 5.1 on Moomoo and Weeble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying as far as cash just to grow interest, as far as like a alternative to an emergency savings, you could just park your cash there and get a nice
Okay.
percentage. Because
I
I
I
believe my Ally account went down to like 4.3 or 4.2, something
okay.
like that. It's not 5% anymore.
Yeah, I do use that account, but I usually, by the time I put the money, because I put $50. I don't usually put like, hundreds of dollars in there for my $10 a day
Hmm.
investing, but
Hmm.
I do sometimes have money sitting in that account that I'll transfer from there to the brokerage. But
Okay, okay.
yeah, because their rates are similar or a little lower than the other brokerages, um,
Hmm.
I usually I'm quicker to put money and just have it sitting on Webull because I know it's 5.1 or 5.0. So, I know it's definitely more than, the 4.3 that I'm getting at Discover. But I never and because I only do my VTI on Public, I've never been that quick to just have money sitting there. But
Hmm.
yes, I do have that account and take advantage of it, but most likely the money doesn't sit there too long, but you know me, I'm okay with getting 10 cents or a few cents a day in my interest. All right, so let's take a look. Okay. So, Chocolate Drop, I'm sorry if I missed your comment where you were saying you were asking about CDs for your kids at the local bank. What rate are you currently getting in the CDs? And your kids, they can invest too because I was just going over my daughter's account with her that she has at Fidelity. And I think her uninvested cash at Fidelity is at like 4.97%, but her like her investments, I wanted her to see and understand the difference. Her investments, for example, her Apple stock is up over 40%. um Home Depot was up very significantly, so I definitely want her to see the difference. And she also has a CD at Discover, so the CD rates, saving rates are gonna be around that 5% mark, but your investments over time can be so much more substantial. Her investments into, like, VTI, um, she has some Tesla and a few individual stocks, but her portfolio is 80% into ETFs and then 20% into some, blue chip individual stocks that we've chosen. So yeah, I shared earlier that she actually did her investing on Thursday. She had $66 to invest, and then I think she got about $30 on her debit card, and she was okay with that. Hello, Rod. Thanks for tuning in.
Bro, what
So
it do? Thanks for tuning in.
So DDD, I never seen them before. Is this your first time here? I think they're watching from over on your side, Prez.
I believe so. I don't recall seeing them before either.
Okay,
I
so
seen he
they're
said something about SoFi lies about giving out bonuses, and SoFi customer service is garbage. That's my first time hearing that. Well, I've never had any issues where I needed to contact customer service, but I only simply have I have a savings account with them. I also have a checking account and an investing account.
okay. All right, Prez. Anything else in the can you help me check if there's any questions or comments that you want to highlight in the chat? So
Yes, please.
DDD was listing VTI, Apple, SCHD, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, and what else? I don't know why they were making that comment at that time. I do
I'm
hold
not sure. I'm not
I
sure
do
as to
hold
say what else.
I
So
do
true,
hold
but to
all of those
buy.
things in
Wait,
my portfolio.
he said so true, but to buy Bitcoin back then wasn't that accessible to amateurs, right? Back then, I believe they had a lot of those. They look like kind of like vending machines where you get the little slip and the Bitcoin is like a barcode or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But I wasn't even buying Bitcoin back then when it first came out, so I really can't answer that question for you. But I do used to see those machines like in the mom and pop gas stations and the hood stores and things like that. You'll see them right next to the lottery machine, the scratch off machine.
Okay, Chocolate Drop is saying that she doesn't understand CDs well, but if you let them sit and not cash them in, money doubles, it triples the longer it stays in with them. Well, I don't know if I agree with what you're saying here. I need to have a better understanding what you're talking about. Because like, when
Mhm.
I say a CD, I know I have a CD, the term ends in February of 2015, and I know what rate, and I know how much it's been earning monthly, and I know that I have in my head that, I need to make a plan on what we're gonna do when that term ends. So, I'm assuming that you're talking about something similar. So, I me personally, I keep I know the power of investing versus just saving and trying to have money in a CD, uh, and I try to just focus on having a minimum amount there. I have to have money in case something happens, the car repairs, the home repairs, all of those different things, as well as if there's any, just emergency funds in order to pay bills in case there's any interruption with my regular earnings. So, but besides that, I want everything else invested because I investments are really the way that I'm able to build my wealth and in a totally different way than I could ever by just focusing on savings. And um, I try to bring my daughter along with me with that same mix in what I'm trying to do for her. So investments, CD and savings, um, because uh, I know that she's gonna need things too, but I hope that she can keep what the portion that I have allocated for her so far into investments, keep it invested for a substantial amount of time and let it grow. But yeah, um, I actually hope that the CD rates are pretty good if I do want to roll over what she has. But she's getting to that age now where she should be getting started with driving soon. So I'll have to figure out what she needs as far as a budget and getting started with driving and the car insurance and all that good stuff. Now, who is this? Yeah, I have not gotten to that point yet. I just do regular options, like, regular puts and calls. I have not done a wheel strategy. I don't think you've gotten there yet with your
Not yet. I'm working
not
on
yet.
it. I'm
Yeah.
working on it. But yeah,
So,
that's a very good low risk trading strategy to where as though you don't have to really sit in front of the charts all day. So that's something you could do if you're still working a day shift type of 9 to 5 job or things of that nature. If you have that amount of shares to cover those contracts, then it's a very good strategy.
mhm. Yeah, when I was talking to Ashley, when I was at the event, she doesn't know my budget. It was our first time meeting and talking. So she gave me the example of, Lisa, first you go, you buy 100 shares of SoFi. And, she gave me a nice, modest example of something I could get 100 shares of for less than $1,000. But I
Mhm.
was actually watching one of her videos that she did, when she was trying to teach her daughter how to do it,
Mhm.
and they picked up 100 shares of, I think it was Lululemon, which was about,
Wow.
$225 per share.
Sheesh.
But, I like that we had that conversation, and, I've been watching a few of her videos. So, even with that, you don't have to, um just like we're saying with buying fractional shares, if you wanna buy 100 shares of something and get started with using this type of strategy, you can find something that might be a $20 or $30 share price to get started with it, as opposed to Google or Apple that
Right.
is gonna be, much more substantial, something that you may need, 20, 30, $40,000 in order to buy, 100 shares in one shot in order to, do this type of thing. So, yeah, right now the only in my taxable accounts, the only position that I have that's over 100 shares is realty income. I think I'm maybe at about 750 shares on FXAIX, but that's in my retirement account, and I don't do any trading with that.
Yeah, you can also deal with poor man cover calls, but I would much rather own the shares, take the less risk as possible when it comes to actually selling options. That's just the route that I'm choosing to go once I make it to that point. I can wait. It's no rush because I still day trade, for the most part, almost daily. So it's no rush. I'll get there when I get there.
Mhm. Rod is over here mentioning about Nike. Yeah, we talked about Nike, Rod. Uh,
Hmm.
yes. But you like Prez shared that his average was still high even with the 10% increase over the last
Yeah,
few days. It's still
I'm still like
not a
slightly
huge
red.
not a
Still
huge
slightly red.
impact yet for you. Okay. So let's see.
Even the drop off didn't really impact me much because it's such a low percentage of that portfolio. Like it's real low compared to the rest of that portfolio. So it
Mhm.
really didn't feel it as much. It's an eyesore to look at every day. Like yeah, you down like 20 something percent, man. When you coming back? But other than that, I know Nike as a company is not going anywhere anytime soon. So it really didn't bother me. I wish I could have bought more at the time, but I'm not gonna off balance the allocation of my portfolio just because this is at a dip. Nah, that's not how I manage my portfolio.
Yeah, guys, I don't keep to percentages the way that Prez does, and I will um sometimes change my strategy based on a price fluctuation. Just like I was
Hmm.
talking about Nvidia, when Nvidia went below $100. Yeah, I don't necessarily have a long-term plan on like this week is VTI only or this week is Microsoft. I can I choose to be a little more flexible with that, but that is also what led me to at one point have over 50% Apple stock in my portfolio. So I'm working to create a better balance on some of my individual stocks versus my ETF. But if there is an individual stock that I am trying to build, I'm not going to let that a price dip pass me by if I have my money, that dry powder ready to go. So SCHD, Prez, do you have that in your portfolio?
No, I do not. I do not
Okay.
own SCHD.
Okay. So
However, I do like it. I just don't currently own it.
yes. So, yeah, I know it's up to, like, $80 now.
Hmm.
I got started with SPHD, Main Street Capital and Realty Income. Those were my starting, about a year and a half ago in my dividend, portfolio. But, or this year in 2024, I added SCHD, and, I feel like I was a little late to the game on it, but I'm glad that I added it. And with everything, I have that long-term vision. So, um, it is a fave of dividend paying stocks, but I think I was drawn to getting my portfolio started out with 3 monthly paying dividend companies, or investments, as well as they were all at a share price that was easy for me to pick up a full share, because I did this portfolio over on Moomoo, and at the time there were no fractional shares. So, uh, being able to have my investments at a $40 to $60 price point was working for me in order to add 1 to 2 shares weekly. So
Hmm.
SCHD, I am up to 11.25 shares in my portfolio right now. And like I said, with everything, I'm still building and growing. I'm up 8.45%. And I get that quarterly dividends. So the one is mentioning a short-term treasury index that they invest into, VGSH. Not familiar with it. I don't know if you're going to be doing any reviews or breakdowns of anything, Press, this week.
VGSA. I'm gonna
Mhm.
take a note of it because I'm not familiar with it either.
There are so many. If you wanna do
Hmm.
research on ETFs that, give you exposure to different sectors that you, may have interest in, I'm sure you can find one, and just do your research on what has a good expense ratio and fits into your needs,
Hmm.
and you can find it out there.
Expense ratio, the actual share appreciation over the last 5 years time span, as well as the dividend yield. Like you might see a high dividend yield, but it also has a high expense ratio. So just something to be mindful of because there's so many different types of ETFs out there. It's ridiculous.
Mhm. Mhm. All right, Press. So, I think we've covered everything in the topic. Guys, drop
Mhm.
any questions that you have in the chat. So, Prez, what did you think about this show today? Any thoughts on upcoming shows, and how do you think that this topic is?
You know, I'm not going to tell the topic.
I'm not. Oh, yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that.
But I think this was an awesome topic. Um, of course, lately all of our topics has been correlating with each other. They've been basically like running right into each other. So I'm satisfied.
Okay, okay. And then as far as videos, like what videos are you think, is there any particular companies that you're going to be covering individually, or what's on your radar? I was thinking about um Any thoughts on like AMD or Broadcom? Anything on your radar?
Well, lately I've been what I've been doing like majority of this week, I've been going over different monthly dividend paying companies. Like I have like a list. I'm not ready to share it just yet. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still doing my
I
homework on them. But with this new opportunity that could be potentially happening for me personally, I may be working on a new project to hopefully generate some passive income. So I'll keep everyone posted. Just be sure to have your notification bell turned on. Um, if everything go the way I'm expecting it to go, then expect some exciting content to be coming in the near time future.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, chocolate drop. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on like teens getting into investing? Do you think that teens are not going to want their money tied up in investments, or do you? Because I mean, I know we can sell them and
Mhm.
just deal with the tax implications of the sale of the stock. Do you think that that's what you should look at as the big picture, as opposed to not getting started with investing?
You said look into it versus not looking into it.
Yeah. So what are your feelings on investing and then potentially having to sell the investments as opposed to not investing at all? Now, I'm not looking to sell my investments. So do you understand what I'm trying to say?
From someone who's been through it before, who's
Mhm.
had to touch investments um, that I regret having to touch, it's better to have that money invested and working for you because the times where I did have to touch my long-term investments, I was in profit for the most majority of the times where I had to do it because I've had to do it more than once simply because of outstanding debt that I've already had before I started investing. So life happens and you may end up losing your place of employment and things of that nature where it gets tempting. But I would strongly lean towards not doing it unless you really have to. But if that time occurs where you do have to, at least that money was working for you. So I wouldn't feel bad as just having it just sitting in the savings account or taking out a loan or going to a family member for a loan or something like that. It's counterproductive at the end of the day. Now you got to pay back this loan probably with interest if you got it from a bank or something like that, or a lending service or something like that, or a family member for that matter. They may even charge you interest versus you having to potentially tap into some investments that you had growing over time.
Yes, yes. So Shade 757 is saying that teens should at least understand what investing is and know about the basics. And yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to highlight. And even if you don't want to invest for your children, y- I want them to have the knowledge so that when the time comes and they are having their own earned income, that they know how to do it and they know the benefit of it. Because there's so many things that we just haven't been talking about, and I want this generation in my household for sure. There's nothing as far as finances that we're not gonna talk about. Sometimes I'll randomly ask my daughter, like, you tell me, like, name 3 bills that mommy has to pay, and I'll tell her, like, the ones that she cannot choose, tell me, the basic things, like she can't tell me the electric bill. Like, because I want her to think, like, what does it take to run a household? And we definitely sit down and take a look at the investments and the performance and the dividends and what pays a quarterly dividend and when is things like that. Um, but we just can't think that when they go out on their own, they're gonna understand all this and figure it out. I know I had to figure it all out on my own, and it was very confusing. And I made lots of mistakes that just I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to do my taxes. I didn't know how to keep up with my car registration. I didn't know how to budget for things that I should have known were coming. because I didn't grow up seeing my mom and my grandma and the adults around me doing these things, and
Hmm.
they weren't sharing it with me and weren't talking about it. And nor did I get started with having my own apartment and having that type of balance that I was talking about 50% needs, 30% wants, and leaving some money for saving and investing. You go and you rent the apartment and you get the car, and you potentially could be using 100% of your income just on needs, never mind when you want to go out to eat or you have those extra things that come up. Saving and investing was not much of the plan, but like I said, thankfully I was working and letting that percentage, whatever it was back then, uh, get invested. But let's just take a few more comments and then
I was always taught to focus on getting to going to school, finding a good career, saving, and that was it. I never was taught how to invest or you should be investing and things of that nature. I was never taught anything like that. But looking back at my upbringing and what my family has gone through financially is like is a poverty cycle. It's like you got to be the one to break that cycle. And how do you do it? You teach your children, you teach your grandchildren how to make your money work for you.
mhm,
Otherwise, you're gonna constantly stay in this cycle of poverty, especially if you're melanated in the skin like I am. You understand what I'm saying? It's not fair. It's never gonna be fair. And at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you. So you have to be the one to save yourself and save your future generations by educating them and having them more aware of how to make money work for you and how to generate passive income so that you don't have to work as hard for these corporations that aren't treating you fairly from the get-go simply because you have melanated skin.
mhm. Agreed, agreed. So taking a look at Chocolate Drop's comment about her 16-year-old daughter, and she's saying that she's teaching her about savings and she plans on, focusing on talking to her about investing. And yeah, and d- make sure that she's like we touched on, that she's using a high yield savings account, that she's understanding those interest rates, because I don't I know I think she works at the sandwich shop or something. I don't wherever we're starting off at, I want all of our money to be working as hard as possible. Like, there's no reason to be at the 0.01%, even if you're just getting started with your first after school job. Well said. I think that's for you, Press.
Thank you. Honestly, a lot of us didn't know any better because we didn't have anyone that looks like us teaching or talking about investing back then. And it was done by design. And instead of blaming it on that, because it's not our fault at the end of the day, now you have people that do look like us that's on this platform that are willing to bring awareness to this space because you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And you may not have nothing to take care of you once you get to that age where you can't work anymore. You're dependent on the government.
Okay. Any other comments or questions that you wanna highlight, Press?
I'm 39, and I think if I knew now, even 15 years ago, what I know now, it will be completely different for me. I just turned 46, and I say the same thing to myself every day when I wake up. But like I said, I do have children. I also have a grandchild. So my main focus is to learn as much as I possibly can while I'm still here on this earth and I'm breathing, and teach them as much as I possibly can while I'm still here on this earth breathing so that when I'm gone, they can continue the legacy. Maybe I may be too late for me, but it ain't too late for them. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, and even if you don't, even if you're behind in your retirement savings for investing for yourself, even if you don't have money to allocate to a 529 plan or a UTMA account for your children or your grandchildren, if you have knowledge, pass that on. Sit with them and talk to them and encourage them, even if you can't physically give them money and fund the account for them, because even having knowledge would have helped me a lot. Uh, everyone doesn't have that silver spoon that the money is going to be handed to them, but uh, the knowledge and the money mindset and just the encouragement can go a long way also. What comment has you grinning over there, Press?
Chocolate Drop said I look like I'm 27. I wish I was 27, knowing what I know
Did you
now.
say your
Ooh.
age today?
Mm-hmm.
You did? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, when where's that comment? When Shade 757 said I'm 39,
Oh.
I
Oh.
said, yeah, I just turned 46 last week, so
Mhm.
I wish I
Yeah,
would have
guys.
known.
If you weren't here last week, we were having Prez's birthday party. You missed it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Birthday party slash our 7 points that we were going through. Let's see.
I'm trying to catch up with what Triple D saying.
Okay. Do you want me to
Uh,
highlight anything?
please help me. I don't have much. My account is very small, and I want to learn how to do this type of weekly options, monthly. What I would say to that is if you don't have a nice amount already invested into the S&P, trading should be the last thing on your mind right now because it's so volatile. The learning curve is so steep. Just know this before you even start trading. Almost 99% of day traders are not profitable. So you already have the odds stacked against you. So it's best to have some type of safety net, room for error, just in case, because it's going to take you at least 2 years to just learn the basics and become consistent. So you don't have that type of time on your hands, and you don't have any safety net built up as far as long term investing. I've always been an advocate of being a long term investor, primarily into the S&P 500 before you even think about trading. Trading is just like a treat to potentially speed up your long-term investing. You're able to invest more because you're making income from trading. You still have to get out here and work or have a business or some type of income coming in because you're going to have to fund these accounts. It's not going to happen off of a $400 account, although it's possible, but it's not going to happen. It's going to take a long time for you to build that account up to where as though you're making $100 days and $200 days and $300 days. So I will focus on having emergency savings first and getting rid of that high interest debt first, and then investing majority of my money into an ETF first. Trading comes last. Trading is the last thing you should be doing. If you're not investing long term, you don't own any of these companies, trading should be the last thing, in my opinion, because once you blow your account, then what? Because it's a high probability you will blow that first account. It's highly probable that it will happen. I'm not
Okay,
trying
okay.
to
Let's
say it
look.
I'm
Use
not
your
trying to say it to discourage you. I'm just trying to be realistic about it. It can happen, especially if you don't know proper risk management. And
yes.
when it does happen, I don't want you looking and being like I was when it happened to me the first time. Like you want to punch the pillow, you can't be mad at anybody but yourself. And now you're looking at the influencer because you were trying to follow someone else's trade. Now you're looking at them with animosity when at the end of the day, no one told you to click that buy button but you.
All right. So I was going to say, use your stop loss. Know what a stop loss is and make sure you are
Definitely.
using it because as far as blowing up an account, I don't want it to be down to zero or, I don't want you to take it down to basically uh, 90, 80% down from, your starting point. I don't ever want to hear any of more of those stories. So we can't be out here you have to make the plan from the start. Are you willing to lose 15%? I know something that we've talked about here is getting started with some investments and potentially not investments. We're talking about options trading here. Not
Hmm.
not holding overnight. until you're at that stage where you're willing to take on that risk and you have the knowledge, and hopefully you feel that it is a worthy trade of doing that. But taking all the steps in the beginning that you can in order to not lose out, especially lose big, by not having a stop loss on, not having a plan, maybe start off with a low amount of contracts and just, build your way up. And I don't necessarily think that any don't feel like you have to incorporate trading and options into your strategy as far as investing. You may not ever have to go there if that's not what you are inclined to do. I do a little bit of everything. I invest into crypto. I invest into ETFs. I focus on dividends. I invest on behalf of my daughter. I do options. I'll do regular trades, but uh, it all started with me just contributing to my 401k out of my paycheck automatically, automatic, deduction, went to Fidelity, it was invested, or Empowerment, whatever company the particular job used. And I was building wealth just by doing that. All the
Mhm.
other things, if you don't want to put in the work to do it, it's okay. I just want everyone to be investing on some level. So Peachy's back. Peachy, we're going really long today.
And don't be so quick to jump into trading, especially if you don't have a nice sizable long-term portfolio built up just yet, because taxes, one, um, you have yet to learn risk management for two, and it's not a real good long-term strategy in the beginning while you're still learning. So why not own some of these good companies that's going to pay you a potential dividend or potential growth in the long run versus you jumping into trading off the rip. Like that's really high risk. That's like you'd be better off going to a casino if that's the plan and you want that money that quick. I just can't stress that enough because it's real easy to get out here and fund a trading account and lose all your money. It's just simply because you don't know technical analysis, you don't know fundamental analysis, you don't know how to use a stop loss, you don't know how to put on a trade with not using your whole account and things of that nature. You're
Mhm.
over trading and things of your revenge trading and things of that nature. Is real. It's really stressful. It's rewarding, but it's really stressful, especially if you're new to the space and you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a good long term strategy in place beforehand.
Yeah, and you've never taken a class or read a book, or I see
Yeah.
we have a comment in the chat right now, and they're using the word theta. If you don't know theta and VWAP, and you hear these things and you're like, I don't know what that is, then
Hmm.
take take it slow and get an understanding before you jump in, because just jumping in without a plan and knowledge and those fast fingers to get that stop loss set
Yeah.
can potentially lead you to big losses. And so, you can't you have to take it easy
Remember that
and
day when we traded together? You got out in profit, I got out with a loss. That coming fast fingers. I said,
yeah,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Same trade. She made money. I lost money. Now I didn't
I
lose a lot.
Yeah, the
No.
trade that Prez is referring to is I think I made what? It was a $5.88. It
Yeah.
was something really silly, but we've been joking about it for the last couple of weeks because I was on the trade on Prez's live one morning, and he got into a trade. I did it with him through the live stream, and Prez got out of it, and I said, "Oh, Prez, I made 588, I think it was." And Prez is like, "I don't understand. What are you talking about, Lisa?" Because and I'm like, "Prez, what do you mean you don't understand? We just did the trade 2 seconds ago. I
Right.
made $5.88." But yeah,
I didn't move my stop loss up in profit fast enough. That's what it
yeah,
was. My fingers
yeah,
just wasn't working that fast that particular day. But I did manage to minimize my downside risk. I did, get stopped out with a small loss, but I didn't make no profit. I didn't make no $5.
yeah. Yeah, $5 isn't it's nothing to talk about, but, it was better than being negative.
What you
Um,
mean? Profit is profit.
profit is profit.
Profit is profit. I don't care if I made 50-cent profit. Profit is profit. I
Okay.
mean, them small wins are gonna add up eventually in the long run anyway. Do we
Um,
have any important data that comes out this week? We not really important, but we do have some unemployment data as well as uh it's not even on my screen anymore. Give me 1 second. This is the week of the okay. Just give me a second. I'm scrolling.
September 26th, I think you were talking about the jobless claims earlier.
Yes, we have some GDP data that comes out as well as initial jobless claims as well as continuous jobless claims and core PCE quarter over quarter.
What day is that?
That's on Thursday the 26th.
Thursday the 20th. Okay. So yeah, guys, in the Moomoo Investing app, they have a economic calendar that is very handy and gives you all of this information. I posted the earnings calendar to my community wall. I think the most notable earnings that I mentioned were Costco on Thursday and Micron on Wednesday.
On Friday we have personal income, personal spending, and also on Thursday at 9:20 a.m. Fed Powell has a speech. I'm not sure as to what he's going to be talking about, but it could be a potential market moving catalyst in the short term. But other than that, I don't see much.
Okay, so they're saying the GDP should be pretty important. Okay. Thank you, Sylvia. Sylvia's just getting in over on your side,
Yes, thank you
Press.
for tuning in. Good to see you. You said you're supposed to place the stop loss as soon as you put the trade on. Yes, I did that. I did that. I just didn't increase the stop loss to move it up in
Yeah,
profit
I was tightening up a
before I
little,
got stopped out. It happened so quick that particular day. It happened so quick. Normally I'll, let it increase in profit a little bit. Then I'll slowly, gradually raise my stop loss versus using a trailing stop loss because of the broker that I use for trading.
Yeah, Prez and I, we usually trade on Webull because we've become more accustomed to using Webull than
Hmm.
Moomoo or other platforms. I know I hear people often saying they have struggles with the stop loss on
Mumu.
no, on, Robinhood,
Robinhood.
but
Yeah.
I
Oh
can't
my
I
goodness.
cannot talk, from personal experience because I do not have a Robinhood account. Guys, if you are interested in opening a new brokerage account, Prez and I do have links in our description and probably in the description of the video as well as on our pages, if you want to support and open a new account. So, Prez, one more question. On Moomoo, if you make a deposit, you be will option trade with it instantly? I think if you have to get approved for the account. I've been approved for several years now on these accounts, so I can't tell you how long it'll take, but you have to do the application and answer all the questions, go through the steps on having that access on your account. Then once I have my account set up, I pretty much have instant deposits available to me, with the different brokerage accounts that I use. As far as like Webull and Moomoo, it's pretty much public too. It's pretty much instant as far as when I make my deposit. But I think you need to work on the initial steps to set up the account. Anything on that, Press?
As far as trading with it instantly, I believe on a margin account you're allowed to, but the only thing about a margin account, you only get the 3-day trades. As far as a cash account, I believe you have to wait until it's settled. I was hearing, I'm not 100% sure, so don't be sure to fact check me on this one. That if you Zelle the money to your Moomoo account, then it will be available instantly. But I'm not 100% sure. I never tried it.
Yeah, I don't trade on Moomoo, so I don't know if I only invest and pretty much the money comes in rather quickly.
Hmm.
But it's not I'm not as in tune with it as I am on Webull, because like Webull, it breaks down everything like buying power, options buying power, so I can see what I have available in the different buckets if it's not everything is not completely settled. But I usually have enough cash sitting so that I can make sure I have it available to do options as well as keep up with my investings.
What
Trade
do y'all think
Station,
about Trade
you know what
Station?
that is?
I've never used them. I've never used them. And I think the only reason why I probably didn't sign up for that particular platform when I first started investing is because it didn't have a sign up bonus. So I've never used them. I saw another question on my side. Will you do a live Zoom or live YouTube on the technicals and terminological terms that you spoke of and learning options and leap options? I will probably be doing that on my members only content once I get settled into this new opportunity that I have going on, where I'm gonna be moving. I could be potentially moving soon to another state. So once I get settled in and I come up with a new channel schedule and I get things on track, then I'll be leaning more into that in my members only. Simply
Oh,
because it's so tedious to put those type of videos together. It takes a lot of work. So, and I don't want anyone stealing my work and try to claim it as their own. So,
okay. All right. Yeah, Cosmic is agreeing that Robinhood stop loss is no good. Like I said, I'm not saying that out of personal experience. I just hear certain things with using the stop loss on that
yes, it's
platform.
trash. It's trash. It's trash. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Sometimes you got slippage, like extra slippage. Like for example, you set your stop loss to sell at 50. So, on Webull it might sell at 49 because of the slippage.
Mhm.
So, Robinhood, it might sell at 47 instead of at 50. Like, wow, like I didn't want to lose that much. And imagine if you had 10 contracts or something like that. Now you losing a significant amount compared to that $3 difference is a lot when you got multiple contracts versus only
Yes.
having just one.
Yes, I saw the seriousness in your eyes. You opened your eyes a little wider with that. It
Yeah,
was like
Robinhood has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages. So I'm not gonna say don't use Robinhood at all. You just have to learn what the advantages are and stick to those advantages. And if it's gonna factor in one of those disadvantages, like it's not gonna trigger your stop loss where you want it and things of that nature, then
Mhm.
stay away from it. But yeah,
Yeah. So I watched a few of Stock Talk David's videos recently. I see he was at like about 97, 98 shares of Apple. He's
wow,
getting there.
keep
So
going.
yeah, he'll be having that option of, his 100 shares in order to
Hmm.
do his trades. Vinny is asking, no, I do not live trade. I trade with the camera off over here. Sometimes I'll pop in Prez's chat and I'll be like, I just did such and such, and he'll bring up the chart and be like, I see what you did. I see what you snuck in here and did. But no, I do not teach options and I do not live trade. Uh yes. So
Yes, Robinhood also steals on the bid and ask. Yeah, they taking pennies off. They skimming payment for order flow. You got a lot of different things that hold negative shadow over Robinhood for trade. It's not for trading unless you have the 100 shares and you're selling options or something like that. You don't one of those less riskier option strategies. But as far as day trading option contracts, you buying them today and you selling them today, Robinhood not the place to be.
Mhm. As far as, like, trading, I find it's hard for me to even watch your show, your morning live, while I'm trying to trade and I'm trying to watch the charts because I can't I get overstimulated. I can't listen to you talking
Mhm.
and do what I have to do, you know?
Yeah.
Um so I kinda have to put your volume up and down in order
Mhm.
to know, like, when if I'm doing something other than, if I'm gonna go trade some Tesla or something totally
Right.
off of what you're looking at, it's a lot. So, I really, commend you and Keenan and, you guys that are doing it live and talking us through it with the camera on. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's
I
challenging,
yes.
especially because you already know you could potentially lose on national television. I call it national
National television.
television.
I know you do.
You could potentially lose money on national television, and you got that naysayer, that one naysayer that's making a video like, "Yeah, trading is gambling. Look, he on there losing money," and they done clipped you and lost, got stopped out on a trade or something like that. And yeah, it's challenging. It's challenging. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I enjoy it because people get to see how it looks in real time, especially beginners and people that are curious to get started. So,
Yeah, I can't remember the details on it. It was probably, 5 or 6 weeks ago. I got into a different trade with you, and, I picked up more contracts than you on it. I'm not sure how
mhm,
many, maybe 5 or 6,
mhm,
but at one point but I stuck to the plan that we were talking through on the live,
mhm.
and at one point, I was down over $100, and I was like,
Ooh,
"Ooh," but I didn't, because of the amount of contracts that I had.
right.
But we came out of that one in a pretty good profit.
Mhm,
But it was just as it came down, I was kinda like, "Oh," I woulda gotten kicked out if I chose my own plan, I woulda had my stop loss tighter.
right.
But I stuck to the plan that you had put in place that day. So that's another thing, just realizing how much you have as your total budget and sticking with it because not getting yourself overextended with too many contracts and realizing I'm willing to take $15 or whatever percentage you're going to mark across the board and then just
Mhm.
stick with it because it can
Yep.
be significant depending on how many contracts you add. So hi Andrew, nice to see you. Are you new here? So let's see, any other comments? Think or swim. I've never used it. Have you? I think you have, Press, right?
Yeah, I've used it
Yeah.
before. I don't currently use it now, simply because I'm trying to focus on one platform at a time. Um, like I said, when I first got started, I opened up multiple different platforms. So I stuck with which ones were easier for me to use and you best, most comfortable for me. And I don't like to have too many different accounts.
Mhm.
Like I'm actively, it's a lot to manage. I'm already managing different long-term investing accounts and retirement accounts, and then I got accounts for my children, and it's a lot. So I try to keep it as simple as I possibly can.
So yeah, I think not fractional shares, but yeah, Webull does have good flexibility with pre-market and a little bit of aftermarket trading if you have the budget for full shares because,
Moomoo as well.
yeah, okay. So yeah, I think I was on a live with, the Core 4 and Larry was saying how he had picked up some shares um after, of market fluctuation of a particular investment after
Mhm.
hours. And people were all in the chat like, "How did you do that? How did you do that?" It was after 4:30 when the price, changed. And it was like, there are aftermarket hours, especially like I said, if you're not buying fractional. So you have that flexibility. It's a matter of watching and having your alerts set. Um, yeah, are my devices are drained during after 9:30 with all the alerts that I have set.
Hmm. I
Tesla,
actually
you
used to trade penny stocks during pre-market and after hour trading. Like I
okay.
would make my purchase during the after hours because a lot of penny stocks, and this is very high risk, so don't nobody try to copy what I'm doing unless you're willing to lose because these penny stocks do can potentially go to zero as well as you have the risk of a reverse stock split, during during the pre-market time, and you can't exit out of that trade until that reverse stock split is completed. So but yeah, I used to do a lot of I would make my buys before the market before the after hours is done, which is 8 p.m. So around 5 6 p.m. I'm looking for my trade for that next morning, and I would actually exit the trade when it makes that first thing in the morning pop. I'm talking about penny stocks only now. And that's how I used to do a lot of my pre-market and after hour penny stock trading. Something I no longer do because that's so high risk.
Yes, so I see DDD is putting how do you say? You say triple D, DDD? Set limit buy orders. Yes, yes. If you have to have the budget for it in order because once you have that order sitting waiting for that price, that money's tied up until it fills. So there's been times where I had a random order sitting in there and I didn't have a lot of funds in my account and I've had to cancel my order that I had that was sitting for a long period of time. For example, like buy 2 shares of Apple at, something lower, much $20 lower than where it currently was. But sometimes those random orders have filled for me. So Prez's channel is Prez the Investor. If you type, it didn't drop in the chat. Oh, maybe because they had the periods next to it. Let's see. Uh, there goes
You
Prez's.
faster than me because I couldn't get to my keyboard fast enough, but I do got stuff. I got like papers laying over top of my keys, so
Yeah, I think it's because you had the period right next to your name, so it didn't pick up the prompts because I have that built in. If somebody puts Prez, they should get your channel link.
hmm.
um, so guys, yes, that is Prez's channel. If you are new here, check out both of our channels and hit that notification bell.
They in the chat tripping.
About what?
Somebody said in the chat that Reverend Al Sharpton died, and somebody came back and said, no, that was his father. So Mr. Lade said, you're out here giving false info. I'm just tripping off
Uh,
the chat.
let me see. Let me see. Can I add this? It doesn't look like the page that I want. Presents. Oh, sure. No, no, it's showing me a calculator. But yeah, I do see that. Oh, yes. His father has died at 93 years old.
You already know we get a little hood over in my chat. You might say a comment like, don't use no stop loss. Shout out to Neo.
Yes. Al Sharpton is not up there at those ages yet. I believe he is 69 years old, not 93.
Wow. I thought he was older than that. I thought he had me thinking he was 93. Mm, okay.
So is anyone else live that we can redirect to? Let's see. All right. So I think I am ready to he
He
looks
do look
older.
older.
Okay, listen, this is not stock talk. Let's get back to let's get back to stock talk. This is one of those things.
Who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll have one of them random conversation type of channels. We just go in there and talk about whatever, just trip.
Okay. All right, Press, do you have any closing words for today? I think this might be our longest show ever.
I think
Thank
so. Yeah,
thank
yeah.
thank
Thank you
thank
all
you.
for tuning in, for sitting with us the entire 2 hours. Wow, we did it.
I don't know what got into us, but, um, I can't seem to get this. I can never open my own live.
In
Guys,
closing, if you are not
you know
currently investing, even if you are, teach your children, invest for your grandchildren, even if you feel like you're at a age of older than 46 years old and you feel like, oh, it'll take me forever to become a millionaire. You still got, if you children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, make sure that everyone that's underneath of you, as far as age wise and generation wise, become more and more financial literate so that we can break this cycle of wealth gap and poverty, or struggling for how to make ends meet and things of that nature. It starts with you.
All right, sounds good. So, Fraz, I hope I didn't keep you too long because I know you said that your team was gonna be playing. I'm sorry.
We
You
winning.
you're winning and you're watching the game over there. All right, so guys, it's football Sunday, and Prez's team started at over an hour ago, I think.
Hmm.
And so we are gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button if you have not already. Uh, Thank you again to a brother of a certain age for the super chat today. And let's close it out for today. Let's see. Let's see. Make sure to drop a comment if there's anything that you want to see in the future. Topics for our Sunday live stream. And appreciate y'all for tuning in. We will see you next week. Let's see. There's two more
He said, "I'm making
comments.
up for missing the pop up." Yeah, yeah. I guess you could say that. Yeah, I was so tired. I was so tired when I got back from Pennsylvania on Friday. Oh man, that was an all day trip.
Yeah, guys, and I asked Prez not to leave us hanging because I was looking for him from Friday morning, and Friday morning, Friday afternoon, I wasn't seeing no live until till Saturday night.
I
So,
will be live at 9 a.m. tomorrow, though. I will be live with bells on 9 a.m. We
okay,
back.
well,
Back
I
to the
will see
regularly
you
scheduled program for now.
for
For now.
now. All right, well, I will see you tomorrow, Prez. Bye, everyone.